when I first learnt to run about 4 or 5 years ago, I started running with barefoot shoes, so Vivo barefoots to be specific, and I actually still have those shoes today. They've lasted a very long time. But when I decided to embark on the journey of becoming an Ironman, I needed something that was still as if you're running on barefoot shoes, but had a little bit of cushion, purely because of the number of miles I was going to be doing, right? So I invested in a pair of Altra running shoes. And today I have just replaced my first pair of trail running shoes. So I bought these back in January 23. It's now October 25. And so 2.5 years, and I've put, I would guess, a few thousand miles into these shoes, because they're also my daily drivers, as well as my trail running shoes and everything shoe. So I've taken the laces out, but this is what we're talking about. And this is what happens to the bottom of it when you put so many miles on it. And you might not notice very much here, other than, oh, it looks a little bit worn. But each of these knobs on the bottom should look like my new pair, like that, which they are half a centimetre, maybe a bit more, sticking out each to really grab onto the shoes. And what I noticed over the last year is that I've started falling over. I've started slipping without those, they call them max tracks on the Vivo, on the Altras, sorry. But it's exactly the same shoe, 3 models apart. So I've got the Lone Peak 6s on the right and the Lone Peak 9s on the left, and I absolutely love them to bits. They are the only shoe that has actually held up on the inside of the shoe for me, that hasn't worn a hole all the way through. And this is apparently the difference between these soles is what happens when you do a decent amount of road running on trail runners rather than using road shoes. They flatten out the soles, and you can see the drastic contrast there. So I just want to share my excitement of having these new shoes that I've really deserved, I think, from the miles I've put into the other ones. And it's about time that I need to start ramping up training a little bit for my New Year's Eve marathon that I've been doing for the last few years around Richmond Park. So if anyone is interested in coming along, at like 8 AM New Year's Eve, someone will be running, not fast, gonna take about 4 hours. We'll do a bit more than a marathon, 44K. It's 4 laps of Richmond Parks, stopping off, having a little drink and snack each lap. And I think this year, my partner Millie is going to do a crochet or knitting challenge to see if she can knit a jumper in the time, or knit something in the time that it takes for us to run around. So yeah, very excited about that. And last thing, if you guys are thinking of doing an Ironman or doing anything, a running event like that, first of all, just start off really slow. Just go out. When you start running, run half the speed you think you need, okay? And keep going. If after 20, 30 minutes, you're still feeling completely fine, then you can go a bit faster. But I'll put money on it, you won't. All right. So yeah, I'd also recommend, if you're running quite a lot, getting your gait checked. So it's like running on a treadmill with someone filming behind you, essentially just to see how you land, whether you strike with your heel or whether you strike with your forefoot, because that will determine what shoe you need. And when I really wanted a pair of Hokas, I put a pair on. They have a drop, which means they've got a slight heel, and completely messed up my running. So couldn't wear those, unfortunately, but these have been absolutely fantastic. So Ultra Lone Peaks would 100% recommend. There you go. Very excited to have my new shoes. Cool. Catch you guys in a bit. Bye.